Hey my friends, it's Ultimus, and I can't seem to get enough food. Today we're going to be talking about the Fire Mage Artifact Weapon. Now, I am very excited about this because I've actually been playing my mage. I've been leveling her up and been playing mostly fire, been tinkering around with frost a little bit just to kind of see which I prefer. And fire still wins by a landslide to me, and so I'm excited to finally get a look at this weapon in particular. I've been keeping an eye on it for the past few months just to see when it's going to be released. As far as all the talents go, there were one or two that were missing in it, so it really wasn't worth looking at until that we had at least full and some good theories going here for what was going on. In case you were unaware and you would like to check it out, I don't have any footage of it because I'm not cool enough to be in the beta, but Blizzard has, on the Legion beta, opened up a PvP realm where you have full 110 character templates with all artifact power unlocked, PvP talents going, everything, so they can begin testing for PvP. So, if you want to keep an eye and an ear out for those in YouTube videos for other YouTubers, as well as streams, I can point you in the direction of a couple streams and YouTube channels to check out for that. All of them are already big anyways, so most of you have probably heard of them, so I'm not doing them any favors really, aside from just trying to remind you guys where you can find content that I might not be able to provide for you at the moment. A couple channels I would definitely check out for Legion beta content, especially PvP, would be Bajira's channel at Wow. You can find Sidhu's coverage. He's been doing a lot of PvP coverage. Then Rookie, Towley covers a ton of content, not just PvP, PvE as well. All of those guys you can check out, and they usually do a pretty darn good job of covering it. You can also check out Asmongold as well. I know Preach is going to be covering things more so from a PvE standpoint. So those are just some of my personal favorite guys to watch and check out for as far as WoW content, whether it's exclusively PvP, PvE, or just the all-around changes coming to WoW. But all that aside, let's go ahead and take a look at Felo'Melorn, the Fire Mage Artifact Weapon. Now, I've not looked at any of these talents yet. This is all my first impression, all that stuff, as I usually try to do it, so let's get right in. Equip effect is immolates the corpses of your foes. So no damage effect, though I would imagine this would do damage, because you can't have one class with one purely cosmetic artifact effect. So we're just going to assume that this is going to do damage, and I don't feel like that's a false assumption here. So whenever you kill someone, essentially it's going to immolate that target's corpse, and it's going to burn. How that's going to work, I almost bet you there's going to be a skill in here that's going to capitalize on those burning corpses. Like you're going to be able to pick the fire up, throw it at someone, or you're going to make it explode, something. I don't know. I'm almost putting my money on it, though. And then the flavor text on it is kind of cool. It says, not elven weapons, not when they are reforged with magic and hatred, and a burning need for revenge. No, Arthas. Felo'Melorn is stronger than ever, as am I, Kalthos Sunstrider. Unfortunately, it still was not enough, and you got your butt kicked. But that's neither here nor there. Is this going to be like completely ironic now come Legion when Fire Mages go up against Frost Death Knights, where you have Frost Death Knights with the Shards of Frostmourne, and like you have Fire Mages with Felo'Melorn? Just curious. We have the first talent here, which is High Blade's Will. You periodically accumulate flame orbs. Flame orbs cause your pyroblast to be replaced by Phoenix's flame. That at this particular moment in time means absolutely nothing to us. Why can't we click on this? This is no good. And I apologize about that, guys. The links on Wowhead weren't letting me click any of the talents. I tried restarting my browser, I tried updating my mouse, tried loading from different links, and nothing was going through. So I'm using, at this moment in time, the WoW database artifact tree for Fire Mages, which does allow me to click on the traits. So now that we got that out of the way and sorted out, I was a little scared because I was like, we literally just like got done going through this whole intro. I thought I was going to be wasting 10 minutes of my time. So You periodically accumulate flame orbs with High Blade's Will. Flame orbs cause your pyroblast to be replaced by Phoenix Flame. So we have next, which is Ancient Power. This one says it's a placeholder trait, so this one probably will not make it in. It's interesting because it does mention Death Knight. I'm not sure what that's all about. It could be a bug, could be, well, I mean, obviously there's a bug. So I'm not sure if that's actually a Death Knight trait that's made its way to the Fire Mage tree, or if that's vice versa, all that kind of stuff. But let's assume this one's going to be replaced and reworked, as many of these are anyways. But it does read that the Ancient Power within this weapon increases all damage done by 5%. Sounds cool. We'll see if it actually makes it in. Molten Skin increases the damage reduction of your molten armor by 1%, 2%, 3% potentially, I would imagine. Be accurate numbers. Pyroclasmic Paranoia. That is a mouthful. Pyroblast deals an additional 3% damage, 6%, 10% damage. Big fan of that. Great Balls of Fire, of course. Your Fireball does 5% more damage. Okay, 10%, 15% more damage. Understandable. Ever-Burning Consumption increases the damage of your Ignite by 5%, 10%, 15%. Nice. More dots. Good stuff. Scorched Earth. When you cast 4 consecutive Scorches, you gain Pyroblast, making your next Pyroblast spell instant cast, free, and deal 1 plus 300% spell power additional damage. So, is the whole heating up mechanic being done away with? I feel like that was something that was mentioned being done away with, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to do. If so, that's interesting. So you're guaranteed a free Pyroblast after every 4th Scorch. Is that better than after 2 consecutive crits? I don't know. I don't know if that's better or worse. I really am having a hard time. I mean, especially if you play a Fire Mage, let me know in the comments if that's better or worse. Or I suppose if you just have an opinion on the matter, let me know as well. Can't believe I'm saying that. But, that's interesting to me. Instead of potentially the whole, you know, after 2 consecutive crits, you get a free Pyroblast. This one is after 4 consistent Scorches. Interesting. Either way, we're still looking at free Pyroblast, like instant cast Pyroblast, which is kind of scary. Your Flame Strike deals 5% more damage, 10%, 15% expected. Did we miss any? No. Cool. Cauterizing Blink. When you blink, you heal for 60 over 6 seconds. That one obviously isn't going to be correct. 60 is nothing compared to the health pools that I've seen in Legion so far. But either way, you're getting a heal after you blink, which in and of itself is actually kind of scary too, because typically you're blinking to get away from stuff. And so if that's going to have a self-heal attached to that, that's interesting. I'm curious about the amount of self-healing that some classes are getting compared to others. It seems like Outlaw Rogues, Death Knights, Fury Warriors, Enhancement Shamans have a lot of self-healing as opposed to other classes, which should be interesting. So I'll be curious to see how Cauterizing Blink will play into that and affect the balance of that. Fire at Will reduces the cast time of your Fireball by 0.1 second, 0.2 second, 0.3 second. I guess that makes sense since Fireball is what, a 1.1, 1.2 second cast. That's not bad. That definitely speeds up the play style of Fire for sure, because I mean, Scorch is what you go to for your quick cast and when you want to try to set up those heating up procs. But if you can get Fireballs to cast a little bit quicker in less than a second, that's a little bit better as well. That's interesting. I can't imagine they're going to bring back the casting while moving idea mechanic either, because I know that got a little out of hand in Cataclysm. So it's kind of cool to see that dialed back just a little bit. Increases fire damage dealt by 3%, 1%, 3%. Oh, it was just a bug for a reason. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3%. Understandable. That was inevitably going to be in there at some point. Reignition Overdrive. Your Infernal Blast deals 3% more damage. 6, 10 temporary. That doesn't seem like a temporary talent, though. That seems like something that would actually be in the tree, unless it means temporary in the sense of it's going to be moved. Like we saw in the Arms Warrior tree, we saw some of the talents move around a little bit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So that'd be kind of interesting to see if that's what they mean by temporary. By fire be purged. Oh, that's interesting. It's also odd that they're making a Ragnaros reference with the fire talent. That seems more fitting. Whatever, I'm not gonna complain. Should have been a shaman talent name. No, but interesting that they're adding a dispel to fire now. That's kind of crazy, especially if fire has a less than a second cast time, or even a second flat, because that's only gonna go up with haste. That's crazy. It's stuff like this that makes me wonder why they took it away from warriors in Warlords of Draenor. Like, they removed the ability for a gladiator stance to have that active dispel attached to shield slam. You had to be in defensive stance for it. And decisions like this make me wonder why they removed that in the first place then, if they're just going to go back and put stuff like this in the game. I don't necessarily hate the idea, because I definitely like that it gives fire mages a little more utility. I'm all for that, but it's just decisions like that make me wonder. It's like, okay, well then what was the point, and why were you so against it before? And I say all this not really getting my hands on Legion PvP at all. I've only been able to watch a couple streams and a couple videos of it, and so it's yet to be seen. So I could be putting the cart before the horse here, getting upset over nothing, but that just seems like an interesting choice. Aftershocks. When you cast Flame Strike, it will trigger 1 additional times. Oh, that's cool. So you cast your Flame Strike, and then it's going to proc again and triggers your second time. That's kind of cool, actually. I'm imagining this is going to be there. Like, because this is just literally chilling here for no reason. Yeah, that's got to be there. Ancient Power, Empowered Spellblade. Like, that's just got to be the talent that chills there. But it states, Felo'Melorn acts as a conduit for your spells, further empowering their devastating effects. Increases fire damage by 1%. 1 out of 20. That can't be right, though. I'm curious what that rank's going to play, but that more than likely is going to be the talent that's there. That's what I'm calling. Alright, let's take a look at some of our big boy talents here. The elite. Phoenix Reborn deals 10,000 damage to each ignited target. Oh, and grants a flame orb for each Phoenix birthed. Interesting. So we're really like going like full Kael'thas, or full. Why did I say Kael'thas? Is it Kael'thas? I am getting my names all sorts of mixed up here. I think it's Kael'thas. We're gonna go, because it's not Kael'thas. That's a different area. I'm noobing it up hard. This is what I get every time I record way too late. And we're going full Kael'thas here, with like the Phoenix and the nonsense. Like we're talking like, you know, Tempest Keep stuff with the Phoenix spawning and all that. It's kind of cool if they look like the mount. It'd be even cooler if they had an updated texture too. I can get behind that. Little tiny birds flying around blowing stuff up. You know, like death pigeons, like flaming death pigeons. But it's an interesting mechanic. So you're going to deal 10,000 damage to each ignited target, and it grants a flame orb for each Phoenix birth. Now it's on a 60-second cooldown. So I mean, depending on how many targets you have ignited, especially if you're still going to get the trait that your Infernal Blast spreads ignite to targets around it. So that's interesting to me. Be curious to see how much damage you could really rack up with that. That definitely feels more PvE minded, but it's not to say that it's going to be terrible in PvP either. Pyretic Incantation. Every consecutive critical strike increases your critical damage by 5%. Oh, dang. So that would make sense if they got rid then of the heating up mechanic in favor of what? Oh, where is it? Yeah, Scorched Earth. I mean, if we got rid of the ignite mechanic or the again, the heating up mechanic and replace for this for 4 consecutive scorches, because we're also getting this talent, that would make sense. Every consecutive critical strike is going to increase the crit. So you're still going to be rewarded for landing those consecutive crits, but you're going to be rewarded in a different way. That's interesting. And then last but not least, we have Blast Furnace. Inferno Blast now applies Crucible of Flames, dealing additional damage over 9 seconds. So another flaming dot, which is fine by me, I suppose. Now what I want to know too, I'm curious about too, is what this Phoenix Flame is going to look like as it replaces Pyroblast. How much stronger is it going to be? Is it going to have any additional utility? Again, how big is the damage going to be? What's the spell effect going to look like? Because the concept is cool, but I'm definitely curious about it since Pyroblast has been a big main Fire Mage mechanic for a long time. And that's not to say you're not going to still use it for the times that you don't have, you know, the Phoenix up and going for you. But the fact that there's going to be some changes there that I think are very, very interesting for Fire Mage gameplay, especially just, even though I've been playing it fairly recently. I mean, I got my Mage all the way to 85 in Cataclysm and then never got her any higher than that, and then she just kind of sat there and chilled and chilled and chilled until finally I'm like, alright, it's just her and the Hunter left, so that I need to get to 100 before WOD's over, so Mage it is at the moment. So I'm feeling fairly familiar and comfortable with the rotation and the spells and different abilities and stuff like that, so this is all very interesting to me, contrasting what I'm seeing here on paper in front of me compared to what I've been playing in WOD as I'm leveling up. Very, very interesting. Fire to me has always been a very fun PvP spec. I don't want to say it's easy or harder to play because I don't really know if it's necessarily easy or harder to play since PvP is so very comp dependent anyways, and BGs tend to be pretty face roll, like just interesting to me. But I've always liked the concept of Fire better. It's been a little more chaotic. RNG to me at least makes a little bit of sense with Fire because Fire is very uncontrollable. It's very volatile. You can only do so much, and it just, to me at least in my head, going from a class fantasy standpoint, that makes sense to me. So the weapon itself looks cool. I'm excited to see what this all looks like, and I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on Fire Mages going into Legion, especially just as I can get my hands and my eyes on as much Legion beta and alpha coverage as I possibly can, especially considering again we have PvP stuff live. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I do apologize for some of those hiccups at the beginning, all the switching around and having to find a new website. Thank you for bearing with me. I do greatly appreciate that. As always, though, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the new subscribers and the faithful subs as well for sticking around. If you have not done so already, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on Fire Mages coming up in Legion in the comment section below, especially if you play one. I'd love to hear your 2 cents on it. Still shooting for 500 subs come summertime, so if you'd like to help me get there, I would love your support. I greatly appreciate it. It means the absolute world to me. I've got a couple cool video ideas coming up soon, a couple projects I'm working on kind of simultaneously, but one at a time. It's more so like I'm keeping the idea for both in the back of my head as I work on the other, because they're not really connected to each other a whole lot. They're pretty independent, but I'm excited to get them flushed out and hopefully get them rolling, so there'll be at least one of them out for you guys next week. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video, almost borderline story time, so hopefully you guys are into that kind of stuff and you're looking forward to it, because I'm looking forward to bringing it to you. But that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to follow me on all the different social media platforms that we have on the channel here. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links for all those are in the description, or you can find them up above and the banner as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.